well, one of my favorite bands. So I have Alex Lifeson. Did I say your name right?
Yes.
And Geddy Lee. You are an extremely successful band, and you have not received a lot of support from radio stations. You have not received a lot of support from your record company.
Until now.
Now, this is a provocative question. No, what I mean is, you haven't been pushed real hard by anybody, and you seem to be playing continuously. To what do you attribute your success? You're extremely successful.
People like us. This is a big factor. We make ourselves very available in concert. We play anywhere and everywhere we can. So, and when we play for people, they like us. And I think that's the only thing that you really have to do to sell records or to do anything in the music business. You play something that people like, and there you go. I mean, we've always made music on our own terms, and that music is appreciated by people of similar attitude. So that seems to be all you really need. If someone supports you and promotes you and hypes you, and that's fine too, but I don't think it's necessary, because if you're good, people find out.
Well, obviously that's not important in your case. People, it seems like commerciality in music, commercial music is really what's happening. You have to be real commercial to make it, to sell 1 million records, but music is not real commercial,
right, so,
and it's still...
So our point is you don't have to be real commercial to make it.
Exactly. It's the playing thing, right? And you guys, I also heard that when traveling you don't fly. You have your own...
We don't fly very often. We fly, but we don't fly very often.
You have your own bus or something?
We have now a few buses, but we prefer to travel on the ground. Mm-hmm. It's a much more comfortable way to travel.
That's your preference?
Yeah.
I see. There was something else. This is such a, it's a cliche. I use it. Heavy metal. Are you heavy metal? I mean, heavy rock. How do you say heavy rock? It's heavy rock.
Yeah, it's heavy rock. It's heavy metal.
What's happening with heavy rock? Do you see it getting bigger? Do you see it dwindling?
I think there's
the new music movements that are happening.
I think new music movements have done good things for music. I think they have taken everybody and shook them up a bit and said, it's time to reevaluate. And everybody's been reevaluating what they're doing and trying to get more in tune with things that are good and things that people want to hear. I think that's a good thing that's come out of the new wave. But as far as heavy metal's concerned, I guess you would call us a heavy metal band. But I think there's a heavy metal resurgence happening right now.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I think it's probably also because of the whole disco scene, that the two sides are becoming very extreme. The difference between the disco kids and the sort of the rock kids. So I think the rock people are getting a little closer, a little tighter as well.
Sort of a suburban North American version of the mods and the rockers.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, something like that is happening. And in England, for example, they have a place, I think it's just outside London, and it's a heavy metal discotheque. And people go there and listen to the heaviest records you can imagine, and they just get into it, and they stand on this big dance floor, but they don't dance, they just listen to this heavy metal music at screaming decibels. And there's really a sort of a brothership sort of starting in Europe for heavy metal fans, and it's quite bizarre. But I think that's come out of the fact that all the European press has been promoting new wave and punk and the Sex Pistols and this whole thing, and that sort of fell on its face for a while. Although good things came out of it, the movement itself didn't really succeed, and in rebellion to that, I think kids who were long-time believers in heavy metal sort of banded together and went, yeah.
That's what I feel like doing. Yeah.
So,
well, let's break right now, and here's some of the heavy metal. No, here's something from Rush on WRIF. with sorcery. I find it's mostly that type of thing. Those long tracks on your albums.
Yes, I guess you could call them fantasy tunes. They're like cinematic cartoon music.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Well, we got tired about singing about baby. You know, I mean, everyone else is singing about baby and that they love baby, and everyone knows that they love their baby. And I mean, there's just enough bands out there writing music about teenage love and stuff like that, so...
Are you into reading science fiction or the occult or stuff like that? I know I'm into reading that kind of thing, but is it just...
I wouldn't say we're into the occult at all. I would say that we're into good science fiction literature and fantasy and science fact and all kinds of stuff. You know? It's just a lot more interesting to write a song about something than to write a song about somebody's girl who left you and you're all upset about it.
You know, it's amazing because, you know, you're one of the few bands, and you know this, that doesn't have to write about that kind of thing, and yet your music is real popular.
Well, nobody has to write about it, but everyone does. You know, I mean,
well, it's a popular subject, you know.
It's only popular because people keep doing it. I mean, it's like a vicious circle. It's like television. I mean, you keep getting fed junk, so people get used to watching junk, and then people get used to liking junk, so people don't stop making junk because people say, well, they like the junk that we make. And they only like the junk that they make because they've been getting that junk for like, 20, 30 years, so they're used to it. It's like, it's like a continuous circle.
Okay, well, and I'm not in any way comparing you to any bands. I'm just not. Another band who doesn't follow the subject matter completely, and around this place, they laugh at me when I say this. It's Black Sabbath. I like them.
Yeah.
And they don't deal with the same
no, they don't.
subject matter.
There's lots of bands, yes. Genesis, Supertramp, there's innumerable.
But unlike them, it seems that you continue to tour. You're in Detroit a lot. I mean, not a lot, but a lot, quite often. And I assume that you're touring. How often do you tour? You can't tour all year long.
No, we tour about 8 months a year.
Wow.
Here.
In Detroit. No.
What do you mean? Then you go somewhere else?
We usually do an English tour for about 3 weeks to a month.
This year, our American tour is about 6 months long, our North American tour, and then we spent 2 months in Europe.
Do you write while you're on the road?
No. We used to, a long time ago when we had time, but now we're too tired. So this time we had like 6 weeks off, and then we took a farm in Ontario for a few weeks and went up there and wrote the next album. And now we're on tour for the sole purpose of warming ourselves back up to record and play the new material before we record it.
So you have rented your farm in Ontario, and you're getting your album together.
Well, most of the material for the album is written, and there's a couple of tunes that we've put into the new show that we're playing, that we will be playing throughout the rest of the tour, which is only about another week. And then we go and record them.
Okay, you have a song, Spirit of Radio?
Yes, that's one of the new tunes.
What is that about?
It's about the spirit of radio. What the spirit of radio is. It's really about the spirit of music. When you break it down to its initial, fundamental creation, why there is music, and what a good thing it is that it should be free.
And what radio should provide.
Yeah. And doesn't always.
I'll be anxious to hear that on the new album. But anyway, I guess that about wraps up. Unless you have anything that you'd like to add.
5 and 7.
6. What is it?
9.
Wait a minute.
14.
Beer.
Wrong.
Cream.
Beer. No.
Wrong. Well, once again, thank you, Geddy, and thank you, Alex from Rush. It was a pleasure talking to you.
And thank you, Karen.
That's Rush on WRIF. I'd like to thank Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson for stopping by. A couple of really nice guys. I've never met the band before, and they were just real nice to talk to. Thank you once again. They were out at Pond Knob last night, and as far as I know, it must have been a good show.